a continent has now defined
In the news, FEC approves 82 billion naira for Federal Secretariat orders. Tshisekedi and Kagame work to address insecurity in the East. United States, Virginia becomes the first southern state to abolish death penalty. CBN retains economic parameters as currency in circulation drops by 1.8%. And in sport, Juventus plays Ronaldo at 21.5 million price tag. Details shortly. This is TOS Television, your digital-first Pan-African news network. I am Rose Audu, and this is TOS News 360. The Federal Executive Council has approved 82 billion naira for the completion of infrastructure projects in the Federal Capital Territory. Rehabilitation of the Federal Secretariat, Abuja, is also included in the project. The Minister of the FCT, Malam Mohammed Bello, made the announcement while briefing State House correspondents at the end of the council meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari in Abuja on Wednesday. Political organization in Cross River State known as Southern Senatorial Group has come hard on Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State, warning him to stay clear of Cross River State affairs as his meddlesomeness is distraction that is not welcomed by the people of the state. These follow the recent statement by Wike casting aspersion on Cross River State Governor Professor Ben Ayade. Niger State Police Command has paraded no fewer than 21 suspected persons in 2 separate arrests for railway vandalization in Esheti, a Legi community of Kateregi in Kasha local government area of Niger State. The Command Police Public Relations Officer, Wasiu Abiodun, while parading the suspect at the police headquarters in Mina, said that they acted on the tip-off by police operatives attached to the Kateregi division to effect the arrest. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has warned politicians against violence and other acts capable of creating apprehension during this weekend's Aba North or South Federal Constituency by-election in Abia State. Its National Commissioner and Chairman Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, who gave the warning yesterday, declared the readiness of the Commission for the poll. And a woman has been arrested by police in Niger State for allegedly killing a newly married co-wife. Amina Aliu, 24, was said to have gone to the house of the deceased, beaten her to death with a pestle, set her body on fire before locking her up in the house and leaving the scene. The nation learned that Fatima was killed about 2 months after getting married to Alhaji Aliu Abdullahi, who is also married to Amina. This is your digital first Pan-African News Network, TOS Television. You're watching TOS News 360. More stories after the break. Welcome back. Still talking national stories, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has announced 96 new cases of COVID-19 late on Wednesday, bringing the total number of infections in the country to 162,178. The NCDC, which made the announcement on its official Twitter handle, made no mention of any death from the disease within the past 24 hours. Of the newly recorded cases, Lagos reported 28, Yobe 20, Akwa Ibom 10, Cross River 9, Kaduna State 6, Kano State 5, and Edo State 4. The Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Hakeem Odumosu, has redeployed the Divisional Police Officer Anikonu Division, Francis Ani, and other officers over unprofessional conduct. The redeployment was decided on Wednesday. The Lagos Police spokesperson Muyiwa Adejobi said in a statement, the police chief's action came on the heels of the arrest and detention of a Lagos resident, Tunde Abbas, for filming police harassment. Meanwhile, bandits have killed more than 20 vigilantes in an attack on Kotonkorol in Mariga local government area of Niger State. The attack, according to the British Broadcasting Corporation Hausa, occurred on Monday after the vigilantes engaged a group of bandits in the area. According to Ibrahim Ilyasu, a member of the State House of Assembly from Mariga, said on Monday there was a clash between vigilantes and bandits, and they pursued them to a nearby bush to fight them. Unfortunately, the vigilantes were killed and the bandits refused to allow the community to retrieve their bodies. He also promised to embark on reconciling all aggrieved members of the union in order to ensure all existing litigations were totally withdrawn from court. Commending the relentless efforts of late Khalil to improve the livelihood of local government workers in the country, he gave assurances of an open-door policy system by his administration to ensure everyone was carried along in the new regime. Newly inaugurated National President of the Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees, Comrade Ambali Olatunji, on Monday insisted that the union will continue the struggle for local government autonomy and passage of the local government scheme of service from where his predecessor left off. Speaking at his inauguration and other principal offices on Wednesday in Abuja, Olatunji appealed to lawmakers to ensure the passage of autonomy for local government as part of the ongoing constitutional amendment. And now to bring you stories from across Africa, representatives of Rwanda and the DRC's Defense and Security Forces met recently in Kinshasa, and they made several important decisions about cooperation in Eastern DRC. During this meeting, which took place from 15th to 19th of March, Francois Beya, security for the DRC's President Felix Tshisekedi, and Jim Bosco Kusura, the Chief of Defense Staff of the Rwanda Defense Force, reviewed the decisions made at their previous meeting. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken approved the establishment of a special envoy for the Horn of Africa, where multiple political crises are unfolding. The envoy, who is expected to be appointed in the coming weeks, will focus on the conflict in Ethiopia's Tigray region and tensions between Sudan and Ethiopia over a disputed border area, the department said in a statement Wednesday. This is your digital first Pan-African Network News at TOS Television. You are watching TOS News 360. Stay with us. Welcome back, and still on stories from across Africa. Guinean authorities should immediately release journalist Amadou Diallo and ensure that the press can work without fear. Rwanda is in the process of mobilizing funds and designing the second phase of the Economic Recovery Fund. The fund's second phase is expected to be launched in June this year and follows the 100 billion fund launched in June last year. Sources with insights on the matter say that the second phase of the fund could increase the fund to about 350 billion. From the globe, Virginia has become the first state in the U.S. South to stop executions after Governor Ralph Northam signed a piece of legislation to abolish the death penalty. The Democratic governor signed the death penalty repeal into law during a ceremony outside the Greenville Correctional Center in Jarrett, Virginia, after touring the prison's execution chamber, where 102 people have been executed since its opening in 1991. The University of Aberdeen in Scotland is to return a Benin bronze sculpture to Nigeria, saying it was acquired by British soldiers in 1897 in reprehensible circumstances. The university called it one of the most notorious examples of the pillaging of cultural treasures associated with 19th century European colonial expansion. It would not have been right to have retained an item of such great cultural importance that was acquired in such reprehensible circumstances, said University Vice-Chancellor George Boyne. And Saudi Aramco announced this week new appointment for top management positions effective April 1. The company appointed Khalid Abdul Qadir as the Vice President of Unconventional Resources. It appointed Nasrul Al-Naimi as Senior Vice President of the Upstream and Masif Azarani as Vice President of Exploration. And Brazil has registered more than 300,000 deaths in connection with COVID-19 since the pandemic started, behind the United States with 545,000 deaths in the same period. The Health Ministry, which said this on Thursday, put the exact number of deaths at 300,685 people at 8 p.m., tallying including over 2,000 deaths in the previous 24 hours. You're still watching TOS News 360. Do not go anywhere. Welcome back. And on business, the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria has retained the monetary policy rate at 11.5%. CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele, who made this known on Wednesday while presenting the communique from the MPC meeting, said that the committee also agreed to hold all other parameters constant. The cash reserve ratio was therefore retained at 27.5%, the liquidity ratio at 30%, and the asymmetric corridor at plus 100 and minus 700 basis points around the MPR. And African Export-Import Bank, Afreximbank, and Nigeria Export-Import Bank, NEXIM, have entered into a memorandum of understanding to establish a joint project preparation fund that will provide early project preparation, financing, and technical support services to public and private sector entities operating in Nigeria's trade sector. Under the terms of the Memorandum of Understanding signed in 20th of February 2021, Afreximbank and NEXIM will collaborate through the Joint Project Preparation Fund to unlock investment into sectors such as export manufacturing, agro-processing, solid minerals development, and beneficiation services, as well as healthcare, information and communications technology, and creative industries. Meanwhile, the Securities and Exchange Commission has reintroduced the periodic renewal of registration by capital market operators to reduce incidences of unethical practices in the market. A circular passed on the Commission's website on Thursday also gave all CMOs an April 30 deadline to complete the registration renewal for 2021. It said that the move was aimed at having a reliable data bank of all CMOs in the Nigerian capital market, both registered and active. And as part of its commitment to a successful implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, Nigeria government said efforts are ongoing to establish a Trade Remedies Authority to enforce rules of origin and tighten borders against fraudulent invoicing. The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Otumba Adeniyi Adebayo, made a disclosure at Lagos State Government House while paying a call on Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu as part of the nationwide sensitization visit to Lagos by the National Action Committee on the AFCFTA. This is your digital first Pan-African network, TOS Television. You're still watching TOS News 360. To stay with us. Welcome back. And on the entertainment scene, a recent Hollywood publication has said that the no-Zoom policy of this year's Oscar ceremony is providing a headache for multiple nominees who live outside the United States and who are still under pandemic restrictions. Variety and Deadline Hollywood reported on Wednesday that publicists and some studio executives have complained to the Film Academy about logistics costs and quarantine issues raised by the decision to ban nominees from taking part in the ceremony remotely. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, which organizes the ceremony, did not return a request for comment on the reports. And despite all that's going on in their lives, Kris Jenner said her kids are doing great. The manager opened up about daughters Khloe and Kim Kardashian's recent life changes on Thursday episode of the Ellen DeGeneres Show. Kris and Ellen first discussed Khloe's plan to expand her family. Earlier this month, Khloe revealed that she and boyfriend Tristan Thompson have made embryos. And on sports, Portugal's defender João Cancelo, these with Azerbaijan's defender Azal Salahi during the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 qualification football match between Portugal and Azerbaijan on March 24, 2021 at the Juventus Stadium. European champions Portugal got their 2022 World Cup qualifying campaign off to a winning start thanks to an Azerbaijan own goal in a tight 1-0 Group A victory in Turin on Wednesday. Azeri captain Maxime Medvedev turned the ball into his own net on a 36 minutes, but that was all Portugal could muster against their 108th ranked opponents. And Belgium exerted revenge on Wales for a shock exit at the quarter-finals of Euro 2016 by coming from behind to get their World Cup 2022 qualifying campaigns off to a winning start with a 3-1 victory on Wednesday. Kevin De Bruyne, Thorgan Hazard and Romelu Lukaku were on target for the world #1 ranked side in Leuven after Harry Wilson had put the visitors in front. Wales are again under the caretaker charge of Robert Page this month, with manager Ryan Giggs on a leave pending the investigation of an assault charge. And Cristiano Ronaldo is reportedly available for £21.5 million, with Juventus willing to sell him. The Portugal superstar is eyeing a potential return to Real Madrid. According to AS, Juve could prepare to offload Ronaldo for just over £20 million as they look to rebuild their squad. Ronaldo was brought in to win the Champions League, but his expensive move has failed to lead a European glory for the Italian giants. This is your digital first Pan-African News Network, TOS Television. You're watching TOS News 360. More stories after the break. Welcome back, and still on sports, Nigeria's Super Eagles have been urged to be cautious of the squirrels of Benin Republic and crocodiles of Lesotho in their final round of qualification matches for the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations. The Chief Executive Officer of Mimshil Abi Egbe gave the advice, saying General and his boys cannot afford to take anything for granted in the back-to-back ties against the two African rivals. Egbe, who is a FIFA licensed match agent, noted that both games would be tricky given the terrain where they would be played. And boxing legend Mike Tyson has revealed that a trilogy fight against rival Evander Holyfield will take place on May 29, despite rumors that talks between two camps had fallen through. The two previous encounters between the pair happened way back in 1996 and 1997, with the real deal winning the first by TKO. The rematch was a controversial affair, with Tyson famously biting off part of Holyfield's ear, leading to a disqualification. Despite the large delay since their previous fight, and both being 58 and 54 respectively, the two former heavyweight champions returned to training last year. And that is a TOS News 360 on your digital first Pan-African News Network. For more updates, visit www.tostvnetwork.com and follow us on Twitter and like TOS Television Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And remember to subscribe on YouTube. Do stay with us and enjoy more programs on TOS Television Network. I am Rose Audu, and many thanks for staying with us.
subcontinental now find ourselves.